is to continue chasing youth access to tobacco.
Right.
We have a fairly strong youth access regulation, comparable to anybody else in the state. We have regular youth access exercises.
Stings.
I don't want to call them stings, that's not the proper, but yes, we've sent youth through our affiliation with Worcester. We could commit monies to purchasing more youth access attempts. We only do 1 or 2 a year now, and unfortunately, their grant was cut, so that's all they can put forth, but I believe we can buy extra ones for short money, a couple grand.
Wouldn't we be able to find a grant to pay for them?
I'm gonna say no, because the grants are channeled through the regional, we're part of WR, Worcester Regional. So the grant monies would be channeled through them rather than directly to each individual town, because we're already involved in a program. And I don't think we could realize a grant significant enough to offset the benefits we're getting from that program.
Okay.
So we could commit monies to additional youth attempts if we felt, especially since the number they do now is not in keeping with our regulation. Our regulation is so many across 2 years, but if they don't do that many, then how can we possibly ever get to the maximum penalty of suspensions and revocations?
Right.
So the board might want to consider putting monies aside to purchase from the city of Worcester, from the region, additional youth access attempts. If that's a direction that we want to go. And I think I could justifiably put that under specialized services. I'm sorry, I said specialized services was a untouchable. Purchase of services is the trash contract. Specialized services is outside contracts. So we could possibly pay for that out of specialized services, out of outside contracts.
Well, I remember we had a lot of discussion about the priorities and where, blight being one, smoking one,
Smike and blight.
select smoking. Do you remember what else?
Yes,
Teen pregnancy.
Teen pregnancy.
We talked about the 5 big dogs in town.
right.
We talked about, and
Teen
that's where our money, the bulk of our money should go. The blight, which is the smoking, I'm all for putting extra money into that. Teen pregnancy, that's,
Asthma.
and asthma, we tied that to the blight, was it? And smoking.
Asthma
The
is-
problem with asthma is we as a town have all of the criteria that causes asthma rates to be high. We have a landfill, we have, we have dirty air.
Smoking.
We have dirty air, we have smoking, we have, it's proven that if your parents smoke, you're more than likely to have asthma. If, there's all this stuff that contributes, to asthma rates. I'm not sure that,
I can strongly add to what Beth was saying. Asthma
being a
is,
low income, town, these are all
we're in
things
the
that
same type
contribute.
environment.
Right.
And asthma seems to be, I don't know if it's caused by it, but it is definitely exacerbated by environmental issues.
Right.
Number one of those being home and home environment.
Right.
The only way we can get into homes is either establish a systematic inspection, which allows us to bang on every door and say we want to do an inspection, or respond to complaints.
So I'm not, I want to get into like the details of what, I just look, the top 5, if you remember, were blight, smoking, teen pregnancy,
Substance abuse,
substance abuse
domestic
is,
abuse,
substance
teen
abuse.
pregnancy, housing, and asthma. Those are the top 5.
Okay, and I think we tied the asthma to all the other issues.
All the others.
That it's like if we dealt, not so much deal with asthma as a separate item, but if we dealt with all the other items, we would have less of an asthma issue. Teen pregnancy, but certainly blight and smoking
A
is,
lot of it's social issues, yeah.
What, exactly,
yeah.
what is,
Oh, God,
just because I'm thinking about, it's just crossed my mind, what is our regulation, our smoking regulation right now?
It's all youth access. What do you mean, what is it?
No, as far as smoking near businesses? What is it
I
currently?
believe we debated this extensively about 15 feet from the entrance to any point where smoking is prohibited by law.
Okay,
So,
because I'm pretty sure there's several businesses in town that have ashtrays that are well within
Yep.
15 feet.
we also discussed it and realized it will not be enforceable by the guy who's walking by on the
Right.
sidewalk who happens to walk in front of the restaurant. But what we're aiming at is keeping people from standing in the entrances where everybody else has to cross.
But if a business has a receptacle that is within that 15 feet, then they're promoting people breaking the law. So wouldn't that be something
My
to address?
concern with telling them to get rid of that,
I'm not saying to get rid of it, I'm saying that it should be
okay,
15 feet
but
from
we
the
have the businesses that are literally step out the door and you're on the sidewalk. So if we tell them they can't have that within 15 feet of their door,
Talking
I know
about
what you're talking about.
not those businesses.
But those are the same attitude. If that ashtray is within 15 feet, then the intent is you can smoke up to the ashtray and get rid of it. If we tell them to get rid of that, people are gonna be walking up to the door and we're gonna have butts all over the ground in addition to the butt. It's a tough one. I know which one you're talking about. They have plenty of room to move that thing 15 feet away, and I will approach that.
Not that one.
Others.
Just name it.
There's,
Name
no, I'm not gonna do it.
Okay,
There's a couple places that I'm not happy with at the moment.
but it's just something we need to deal with. We need to deal with smoking, just in large issues.
So then, so is that, so just, is that a bylaw or is that a Board of Health regulation?
And health regulation.
Okay. So is that something that we could revisit and possibly change?
I believe it was 3 meetings ago, maybe 4. I presented a whole slew of
Right, that was all
possible
marijuana
regulations.
stuff.
Nope, smoking regulations.
Okay.
Those, should we ban the sale of cigarettes at places whose intention is medical, such as pharmacies? Should we do
Yeah, but
the,
I didn't recall,
should we do the
the-
21? No, I didn't include that in there because I wasn't cognizant. Obviously, we can revisit it, and we should revisit all of it. If we want to, as Dave alluded to, if we want to address access to youth further, we might want to consider the Access 21, only because the 19-year-olds are buying it and providing it to the 18-year-olds, where you've gone to college, you graduated college, you're now 21, 22 years old, you're probably not hanging out with the high school kids as much as the 19-year-olds are. So so that would be another step we could take. We might want to visit that whole thing at a meeting.
Yeah, we talked about that at a meeting, said, talking about the limits and said we would review that, and that was back in,
right, but I just don't I don't recall I don't recall discussing
We did not.
this part of it, that's all it is. Right.
We did not. The previous boards were very adamant that they wanted the laws to be specifically youth access, not restrictive on stuff that is otherwise legal. But this is actually against the law within Southbridge alone, so if you can tell me the facilities, and I know one of them, very carefully, I can go out and tell them to move them further away. I would hesitate to do that at the sidewalk businesses, only because I don't want the butts all over the ground. But the businesses that are capable of doing that, I believe moving the thing would encourage them to smoke further away.
I think that's a good idea.
Because how it
All right. Okay.
Well, spring.
Department budget.
Anything else on the budget, any confusion? Because I don't know what these line items, so if you guys want to go kind of, what's that?
I just wanna,
Once a day.
I just think we should stay focused on, on the big issues, and we can run around trying to fix everything, but I do think smoking and blight, and we start tackling teen pregnancy and domestic abuse and any of those things that's where we should be. We deal with those issues, a lot of the other ones will. That whole thing with blight, that one broken window, you fix that one broken window, we gotta fix those houses because that affects everything. Right, all right. You all set?
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna add an agenda item 7B. Andy sent us all something about
I'm blind.
this one.
All right, that's why I got 2 eyes.
Okay. So Andy sent us all something, planning board is planning on discussing about marijuana, and I think the general consensus was we're certainly would be willing to discuss it if anybody would like to discuss it, but I'm not in favor of coming up with a board position unless we have given people proper notification that we were going to talk about this issue. So we don't even have to talk about it. If nobody makes a motion and nobody seconds it, we won't even discuss it and we will move on to the next item. If somebody wants to make a motion and they want to second it, we can vote on it and then we can discuss it and go forward. So it's up to everybody here.
And I'll propose.
Seeing nobody making a motion to discuss, and that's certainly not second, we will move down to chairman's announcement. I have nothing to add. Health director announcement, nothing.
Look at Elizabeth over there, so optimistic. Not gonna happen.
No, I hope you have more stuff.
Just to give the board an FYI, obviously with the temperature of the last couple of weeks, my department has been tripled, quadrupled the attention we are doing to no heats. Between Christmas and the first week of January, we received in excess of 9 complaints for no heat.
Are these rentals or are they single families?
Combination, we actually had one that we investigated it and the person shut, it was 36 degrees, the person had shut off the heat intentionally. Financial reasons, but unfortunately he was suffering for it. I did order some sort of heat restored at least to 60 degrees. Code says 65, I said just get this place so that you can live in it. He absolutely, he got it up there.
Is that the one the ambulance picked
That
up?
was when the ambulance picked up with frostbite.
Same change.
So he got the temperature up to 60 again. He had the water in the house shut off so it wouldn't freeze, but it was intentional. He had the heat shut off, all the valves on the furnace were horizontal. Intentional, he didn't want to run up the bill. So I got the heat back up to 60. It's up to him whether he wants to turn his water on. I made him turn it on enough so that I could determine the water works. So he has the option to have water. Other than that, we have had, I believe it's all rentals, and we have 100% compliance within 48 hours of complaint. We had one difficult that took us 48 hours, but we were literally, Eric and I were on site 3 and 4 times to determine that they are taking action, that they have taken action. We have some that have been restored to partial heat. The condition of the housing and I'm sorry, I don't need to sit here anymore, so I don't want to turn it back on the audience. The condition of the housing is such that, because we got such old housing, and insulation is what it was in, 1910, 1920, it's inadequate insulation. Your heating system can keep up down to 20, 15 degrees. When it gets colder than that, it starts to lose its effectiveness. So we have ordered improvements in heating systems that obviously are going to be long-term, but we have at least restored the heat to 100% of the complaints to what the building can be heated to. Second thing, I was going to mention the waistband compliance, and again, kudos to all of the facilities for their efforts in this. I really appreciate their efforts. Next Tuesday at 10 o'clock, the board is aware that we have a prophylaxis clinic. They call it an EDS site. The Cole Ave School is our EDS site. It's our emergency dispensing site. Should a communicable disease that is treatable or preventable break out anywhere, the board or the Department of Public Health will notify us of the condition and tell us to set up our EDS site. One of our EDS sites is the Cole Ave School. Tuesday, 10 o'clock, we are going to have a setup drill. This is not a race to see how fast we can do it. This is just an opportunity to set the thing up, see where proper signage is, see where signage should be that we don't have signs, set up a couple of tables just to make sure it can work. I've called the schools. The maintenance department for the Cole Ave School will be there to at least open up any access when we get us cables and stuff like that. So I'm inviting anybody who's available to the old high school at Cole Ave, to please come up, see what we're doing, assist, because I believe, Roland, you're on the call down list now, so.
Is
it
that
will
the
be-
gym?
Yeah.
The old gym, yeah.
The setup will include the gym,
Okay.
but it's also gonna include signage in the lobby to say, go this way, and this is where the medical is gonna be. It's basically to make sure that we have a comfortable flow through our EDS site, and that we at least have an idea of how to create the situation for when the real event starts. It's only a setup, we're not running any people through it, but definitely everybody here is going to be a player in an EDS. We're going to name, next week, I believe we're working on our emergency ICS commands. And my assumption is everybody sitting at this table will have at least a position within that command. We will arrange for coverage of the office, as Maritza and I are both on the short list, we'll call them. The list right now is myself, Maritza, and then Roland. Yeah, if you're available, love to have it, just at least to
I'll be
witness,
there.
this is what we're gonna do.
Is the trailer coming from Charlton, for the district trailer for,
No, because the logic is that if an event happens big enough, we're not gonna get charged for it.
right, yeah, well, that's a
And,
district trailer anyway.
yeah, but Charlton has first shot at it because they hold it.
Yep.
So when the emergency happens and everybody calls Charlton, they're gonna say, no. So, we may decide, because I have signs in my office closet. I have stanchions down at the, community center. We have an AM radio, I believe, at the fire station.
Wherever.
Our stuff is everywhere. We may determine that in order to be effective and to get this thing set up in a reasonable time, maybe we need a single trailer to house everything, and we will approach the,
So we as a town are dependent upon getting stuff from Charlton, even though it's a district wide, nobody ever thought about getting our.
there is regional public health. I'm a member of the FEP, the Regional Public Health Emergency Preparedness, and the FEP bought a certain number of trailers, a certain number of, and towns could say, I want one, I want one. We got an AM radio for notifications. I think it's underutilized. I think we should probably get that up the same way we have cable access TV up, so that people get used to tuning to it for our information. I mean,
We can notify
salary information.
people who are on the blight, the owners of the radio.
I believe FCC is
No,
going
they
to
use
seriously
satellite.
restrict us.
They have the money to use satellite.
So yes, there are regional equipment through both Homeland Security and through FEP. And I have a list of where all that equipment is, so if something happens in Southbridge, say it's a foodborne illness outbreak that I need to prophylaxis the population of Southbridge, or have an event in Southbridge, I can access that. If it's a district-wide, then we are going to put a lot of burden on our logistics officer, because that person is going to have to scramble to find stuff for us, and because other towns are gonna be using this.
Right. That's the sad thing about regionalization.
So essentially, we need to have a plan in cases.
And step one of this plan, I think, is gonna be to set up and identify what's gonna make it easier for us to do the setup, what are we lacking in accomplishing the setup. So, and when I say logistics officer, I'm just guessing.
So, a trailer, why not, if we're pretty sure that Cole Ave is gonna be our EDS site.
As our primary, we have Charlton Street as our backup.
Okay, but could we store, instead of thinking about a trailer, couldn't we store that?
That's something we would want to investigate the possibility. However, the receivership at the school, I believe, has set up a pilot school. I think they're back there using it as a school.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how much storage area is gonna be available to us.
So now there's still quite a lot.
Yeah, I would never recommend putting it in one spot that's not there.
Yeah.
I would actually put it in a trailer and be able to move it around. You
That's
put it in
what
one
I'm-
spot and it's gone,
When I
you're
was,
done.
when I was in another town prior to this, we had a trailer, and we actually put our flu clinic in it, as well as our emergency dispensing site. And we literally brought the flu clinic to the schools, we brought the flu clinic to the communities, the senior center. We brought it to the police station, the fire school. If you're mobile, it's
It's a dream.
Okay,
So that is 10 a.m. Tuesday, the 16th. Miss Sarah, our consultant to the FEP, will be assisting us.
Anything else?
I'm good.
Okay. Agenda item 10, Board of Health, we'll start from the right, I'm left-handed, but we'll start from the right this
I'm
time.
good. Everything's been answered.
Beth,
I'm good.
David?
Hit a couple, influenza. Have we seen a big epidemic within the town itself? The flu?
I have
Has the nurse
not.
talked to us at all?
I haven't reached out to find that information. I can. I would assume that if we had that much, Deb would have informed me by now. But she is actually fairly effective with flu clinics. And remember, every person that we get vaccinated for flu, not only potentially saves that person, but the two persons they would have sneezed on,
Right.
other than that. But I will reach out to her and find out if we are as affected as the nation as a whole is right now. The nation is up, it's way up.
Yeah.
I believe it's threefold from like last year. Last year was about.
I was just checking to see if there's any issues within our own town.
I got no,
Any,
I got no
any long-term
reports.
illnesses or.
I will definitely make it a point to find out and have it for the working meeting.
Also, you mentioned rats.
That's because of my favorite animal.
Yes. You mentioned rats a few months ago, or a month ago, over by the VFW down the
The
road.
triangle.
Yeah, and
I
you said
did.
there may be an outbreak.
I have heard nothing since then, so I have
Either
backed
all
off.
residents are dead or rats.
Literally, I have walked behind the same buildings. I have walked behind the same buildings, and not seen rat tracks in the snow. Until I get complaints again, I'm not gonna assume a outbreak.
Coyotes ate them.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And that,
I really
that's,
solve a lot of public health problems.
Yes, they do. That and Fisher cats.
one thing I wanted to bring up to the chair, talk about the, are we talking about the landfill oversight next week as well? Starting to man that up.
It is not currently on the agenda for next week. We have 4 items on the agenda for next week. And it's a working meeting. The board seemed not to want to overload it. About 4 items is a lot for a working meeting, but
Well, what is on our working meeting at this
the
point?
working meeting, actually, I have that further on the agenda when we talk about scheduling the next meeting.
Perfect. I will,
That's all I got there.
Okay.
Tony?
We were gonna ask you.
I know.
And another.
Dave, you all set?
I'm all set.
Okay. Tony? Okay. Subcommittee, traffic,
So, Triapic had a meeting this week, and they actually are having a CERT class that they're opening up to the public. It's, thanks Roland, the Citizen Emergency Response Team, and there's not a definite date on it yet, but they're looking to start holding those classes in February. It's a 13 weeks, one night a week. And it's for, you get a certification in emergency response. And they also did a very nice presentation. They had a couple of guys that were from MEMA that went to Puerto Rico in October. And brought back a lot of interesting information and some useful stuff. They said it was just horrible, very, very bad down there. That's it.
Just a note on the triathlon, the CERT program. We can get as robust a CERT program as we want to have unless we keep them involved.
Yes.
They will drop off. We can train them, we can do everything, but unless we keep them involved, get them out when we do special events, they're gonna drop off and we're gonna end up without a group. And the CERT program and the Medical Reserve Corps are our 2 primary reservoirs for emergency preparedness assistance.
Well, I think I'm gonna take it. This doesn't cost anything.
It doesn't cost anything and it's a really good thing to be involved with.
Yeah, the cert doesn't cost, they got a grant.
But whoever's operating it, I'm not sure, I think Mark
Well-
Lorenzo has to keep them involved. If they don't be kept involved, they
Yes.
drift off.
Each emergency management director is supposed to be the one leading it for the town. Each community, Tri-Epic has regionally done the training.
Right.
Gus, you were one of my CERT members when I was the CERT coordinator. But you're right, You have to keep
Nothing's
them-
happening, so.
you have to keep them involved. They were very, very conscientious, but you have to keep them involved and it's tough. Because the liability, they have to be, and we took, I believe, everybody through the town council, so they read the names, so that the town council knew they were town volunteers. So when the emergency management director called them out, they were covered in case anything happened, which was a very important.
Good point.
And they didn't go out unless they were called out and blessed by either the emergency management director or the community cert coordinator.
But as it is right now, I think I think only Colin Locklow is the only one who's actually still involved in doing anything. Coincidentally, I was
Sounds about
cleaning up our farm room and I actually came across my old cert stuff. It's sitting there.
Would it be appropriate for them to be involved in like the whole zombie thing we're doing?
Absolutely.
over
We
this?
All
use
kinds of
them.
stuff like
Right.
that.
So
Absolutely.
that
We use them
seems
in
like,
the influenza.
because that keeps them informed. If we can think of like, we have one there and then maybe we think of something else, you know, during the summer.
Anything you can get, like in Auburn, I covered something where they were doing one of the EDC drill you're going to be doing next week, they did it a couple of weeks ago. The CERT team was the one that was heavily involved in putting everything together.
Yes,
Yeah.
they can be used there. We used them in the H1N1 when we had the 2 flu clinics. Setup, manning, intake.
Exactly.
So we do the
Auburn
flu.
has a very successful CERT program, and they are successful only because they invite the CERT team to every event.
Mm.
Yeah.
And the CERT team feels like they're appreciated and they're used. If you let them go doing it, they will leave you.
And that's-
And those are events, not just like what you guys would do, like the Horribles Parade, and the town, Memorial Day stuff, and 4th of July stuff, and all this other stuff. Get them all involved in everything. And I know
Okay.
I'm on the list, I
think-
know Monique's on the list.
Yeah.
All right,
That's the
well,
only thing I can think of, actually. So-
I plan on taking the training and then we can.
Yeah, I'll let you know, because I
So-
don't want to do it tonight.
All right, anything else?
No.
The traffic, not that it was supposed to be you, but Andy decided that he was gonna take your time.
Oh, that's okay, that was good.
Sustainability Committee, I believe that is on our working, sort of our working
Oh,
thing.
Yeah, and I
But-
wanna
yeah, but
find
It is-
out
it is
about
not.
that.
Oh, I thought that it was, so we'll
But I
come up
have
with a
I
separate.
have a sustainability committee thing.
Okay,
Okay, I previewed this, last time. This is my, what?
That's the name you created that list.
Oh, This is my, plastic bag ban, idea. Okay, but I can't keep talking while I'm talking.
Forward me an email, if you can take one of each page.
Okay. During my lifetime, I have repeatedly heard things to the effect, if you want something done in this country, make sure that there's a monetary aspect to it. So in an attempt to be plastic-free and polystyrene-free by January 1st, 2019, I propose a 5-cent or 10-cent per bag, cup, tray, etc. within the town of Southbridge. Of the collected money, half goes to the establishment as an incentive to abide, and half goes to the recycling and sustainability efforts in town. A recent Nation magazine, December 18th, 2017, reported that England's plastic ban use decreased by 85% when a 5 pence per bag fee was imposed. And quite honestly, I don't know what a pence is, but I assume it's a cent. I'm not sure if this would be a Board of Health regulation or a town bylaw, so I'm just throwing it out to you guys. And I have my handy town councilor here, so he can take it to town council if need be. Okay, why are thin polypropylene bags so bad? In addition to gumming up recycling equipment, those plastic bags are used on average 12 minutes. Once discarded, they exist on this planet for 1,000 years. That means 1 minute to 44 million times longer than we use them. That's a lot. Our oceans are filled with plastic, not just from plastic bags, but reducing plastic bags will reduce that amount that there is in there. Plastic bags can easily become airborne or float, causing problems above ground and below water. In the water, bags lose their color, and marine life can eat these bags, accidentally mistaking it for food. Either on land or in water, these bags have no nutritive value and often cause a lot of harm as they clog the digestive tract. And Exhibit A is my cat Bran, who is a plastic addict. In the middle of the night, I'll hear something and I'll be like, "Guys, what's that?" And it's Bran eating plastic bags. And we don't get the plastic bags at the grocery store, but plastic bags are everywhere. Everything comes in a plastic bag. Like all foods, like granola, cereal, stuff like that. And she will seek it out. She's truly an addict. Okay. Oh, and she has, it's not visible in this picture, but she has like a pouch. Seriously, she has a plastic pouch. And we ask the vet every time we take her, yeah, you shouldn't let her eat plastic bags. Well, we don't let her. But she has this little, like, growth on her body because it can't be digested. Okay, by 2050, there will be more plastic than fish in the ocean. And with all the ocean and lake products eaten by humans, that translates into a lot of plastic ingested. The breakdown products of the plastic, including the fumes from the production, are even more ubiquitous and can enter plants and animals, which can bioaccumulate as higher food chain animals eat lower food chain animals or the plants. And my Exhibit B is this fish guide I got. I mean, we shouldn't have to have like a guide of which fish you can't eat and which you can, and which are, you're taking your chances. I mean, I'm a vegetarian, I don't eat fish, but it's useful to some people to know which ones are bad. So instituting a fee for these disposable goods can also bring an awareness of the problems associated with them. And I will shame 2 members of the Board of Health right now.
Exhibit C.
So
Yeah.
environmental damage over my ears, I don't do it.
But you can have a cup, and the Sustainability Committee gave these out, and I believe we still have them in
You
the
are
office.
correct.
Do they have
Still
salt
have
on
a
them?
ton of them.
So
We should,
I think we should dig them out right now, and Anthony and Dave will be the first recipients.
Daryl.
Oh, Daryl.
That's not Dave over
Gonna
here.
have 2
Oh, okay.
Maybe
Can't
Dave.
have-
Oh, okay.
can't have David.
I thought you said Daryl earlier, and I was
No,
like,
we're just
wait a
kidding.
second, I thought his name was Dave. No, I
Yeah,
know
I'm
that.
Dave.
I gotcha,
That's
I
a
gotcha.
test to see if you're paying.
Maureen, you don't need to convince us. Okay.
Okay. I know that, but I'm practicing in
Okay.
case because
Good job.
I don't know if this is a Board of Health regulation or a bylaw, so I don't know if I have to do this whole dog and pony show
So
with
there were-
town council, I hope not.
She's practicing.
So certainly it's sustainability. It certainly
Yeah.
falls into that. Sustainability is certainly under the Board of Health.
Mhm.
And I think we should at least talk about this thing, a proposal, whether it's to the Board of Health or whether it's to the town. You're right.
Okay,
So I'm not sure. But why don't you continue, so.
okay, where am I? I just have to read all this. Instituting a fee for these disposable goods can also bring an awareness of the problems associated with them. Since our society is so economically based, many folks could be unaware of the problem since plastic bags and styrofoam cups are quote-unquote given to them so often. By the way, these are not free. The cost of these are passed on to consumers in other ways. Even a relatively small fee may make folks pause and think about it. I said Exhibit C here, but I'm not going to do that. Oh, we already had Exhibit C. Another health issue to consider is the production and transportation of these products, which translates into air pollution. The energy used to power the manufacturing of them all adds to our air pollution, which contributes to climate change, which affects us all. And on Southbridge level, plastic bags and polystyrene take up a lot of room. that's not qualified, but a lot of room in our landfill. And with the departure of our current vendor, Southbridge needs to retain room so the town can utilize the remaining space. So keeping single-use polystyrene and plastic bags out will help ensure this. In conclusion, let's join Boston and over 50 towns in Massachusetts in doing our share to reduce air, land, and water pollution. Let's walk our talk because we have a green designation. And the town council is gonna talk about issues related to this at an upcoming EHS meeting. But I'm not sure when, but I'll let you all know via email.
Probably be good next week.
So, this, what you sent us, is this from a town? Is this
No, I-
the cover?
That's Gus's.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
that's
So I would like, I mean, the last time we talked about, you know, looking at what's already been vetted
Yeah.
out in other towns, you know, that have gone through the process
Right.
of public input and all that. So, I mean, this looks like something that would be in a code of bylaws for a
Yeah,
town,
that's why I-
so that's all
Oh,
right.
yeah, and I had a lot of stuff from the Boston plastic
So
bag.
there's a bunch of them. So
I do
that,
have a
That I
question,
can
Gus,
send.
Yeah.
or Maureen, I don't know. The plastic bag, many communities have done that. How many of those communities have also dealt with the polystyrene, the styrofoam?
I don't know.
Any of them?
I honestly
Yes.
don't know. I know some do, but I think there are probably fewer that do polystyrene than do
You want
plastic
to say
bags.
Concord?
I know Concord did, I know Concord
They
did
did
those.
the
They
water
did the
bottles.
bottled water.
Yeah.
But there was
They
one
might have
vote
done
that
that
also,
as well.
everybody changed to the paper. And they're
Okay.
so hot
The
that
only-
you're
the
gonna have
only
to
reason-
Right,
separate.
you have to have a separate paper, or
And I didn't know if it was Concord or somewhere.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, I remember.
Because I eat a lot of coffee.